All right, Knights of Apollo, what is up, guys? Hope you're doing well, and welcome back to the battlefield. Once again, we are playing 1212 AD, and today you are going to witness a never-before-seen battle style, or battle game mode, or scenario, whatever you want to call it. You've never seen it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be epic. And I was actually live streaming this on my channel, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you're properly notified when I'm streaming on my channel, and you can take part in these battles, fight with me, fight against me, or both. So yeah, be sure to do that. And let's dive into this little new game mode that I came up with. So this is essentially a reinforcement battle. Now, we've done reinforcement battles before, but there is a twist. For you to be able to unlock reinforcement armies, which the reinforcement armies are the two armies back here in the far corner, you have to get a certain amount of kills. So to unlock the first army of reinforcements, you have to get 700 kills, and then once that army joins the fight, you have to get 2,000 kills to unlock the second and final wave of reinforcements. So you have to kill the enemy to unlock your reinforcements, essentially. I think it's really cool. I really enjoyed this battle. I think it's a cool idea, and be sure to share your thoughts about this game mode and like what you think about it, and maybe some ways we can perfect it and make it better. So, for example, in this battle, if we look at the exact numbers, the enemy we have 6,224. The enemy has 6,830. So we have to bring down their manpower, their man count, all the way down to 6,130. Then the first reinforcement wave can arrive. And then for us to get the second reinforcement force, we have to bring them down to 4,130. Now for the other team, the enemy team, they have to bring us down to 5,524 for their first reinforcement force, and then for their second reinforcement force, they have to bring us down to 3,524. It sounds a little confusing, and it's like, it's a lot to keep up with. Not really. Once you figure out the numbers, you just have to hover over the balance of power, and you'll know, like, how long you have to wait until you can join the fight. But the strategy involved here, it's so cool. It's really interesting, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this one a lot. So again, let me know down in the comments what you think about this game mode. If you'd like to see it more, ways we can improve it, and whatnot. So let's dive in here and look at the factions. So this is my team here. So the first player going in, he is playing as the Gurid Sultanate. I think I'm butchering that name. But they're an awesome Eastern faction that has elephants. So he's bringing elephants with not just like bows or guns. They have big old cannons on these boys. So they're ready to blow up some people from far away and then crush some skulls up close. So he's currently racing up this hill. We kind of had a disadvantage on the deployment because we have to go up the hill. But that's okay. There's plenty of time and space to move up here because our opponents here... Well, actually, let's look at the rest of the factions, right? Before we look at the opponents. All right, so yeah, we got the Sultanate faction here. And then the first reinforcement force, we have Poland. So Poland's going to be joining the fight. Some awesome cav, some decent infantry. And then the third reinforcement army, which is going to be my army. I am playing as the Empire of Trebizond. I believe it's the Empire of Trebizond, right? Trebizond. We're playing as Trebizond, which is a cool, like, Eastern Christian kind of nation. You know, Byzantine, essentially Byzantine. So very cool, very awesome. Can't wait to see them in action. All right, let's go to the other side. Let's go look at our opponents. We have the Teutonic Order, who's going to be leading the way for them. And then their first reinforcement army is going to be the Kingdom of France. So France is here with the epic envy of the world, the French Knights. He decided to spam axe sergeants. So his idea for this was bringing a lot of shock infantry that can get a lot of kills quickly. So we'll see how that plays out. I like it. He's trying to get creative with it. And then their third and final army is, I believe, Bohemia, correct? Yes, we have Bohemia on the battlefield. Now, unfortunately, they have no faces or body armor. They're invisible. There's something wrong with my mod. There's some sort of glitch or issue. I don't really know how to fix it, but yeah, they got some invisible people, so that's pretty terrifying. But let's go over here as this battle progresses, and you can see that the Teutonic Order is gonna go ahead and start the fight. They're gonna advance forward because they have the disadvantage because they don't have archers. Amazingly enough, not a lot of armies brought archers. I personally didn't bring archers because maybe everybody had the same mentality, but I just thought, you know, I'm gonna run to the fight. I'm gonna throw everybody into the fight. As soon as my army is activated, I'm gonna get into this fight and do what I can. So maybe everybody had the same mentality. They just were gonna go be aggressive. But archers can really stack up a lot of kills. Now, our ally here brought archers. It's a little sneaky because these tribesmen here, they have the sword icon over them, but they do have bows. So he brought like 3 of them, and then he brought 1 horse archer unit, which you're allowed 4 skirmishers. I don't know, the elephant, well, I guess it's kind of cheating, right? Because these elephants are probably considered skirmishers, right? I don't know. We weren't too stingy about the rules because it was just like, this is all for fun. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal. But the Teutonic Order does not have any archers. So he doesn't have the luxury to sit back because he's getting peppered down. So he's going to go ahead and charge into the fight and start racking up those kills. Now, so far, we've only lost one soldier, but that's going to change very quickly as this infantry advances upon our allies' position and begins the fight. It was pretty cool too. Like when you're actually playing these battles live, you kind of like, oh hey buddy, you know, watch your right flank or watch your left flank, or you should try this. You know, you don't want to be too much of a backseat gamer because you don't want to get, you know, your teammate frustrated. Like, hey, shut up, you know, I'm fighting the battle right now. But it was cool to kind of have that that teamwork involved. But he's got his infantry in shield wall holding against this Teutonic force. And I love the Teutonic Order. They kind of have the Brittany vibe, you know, in terms of the color scheme. So very cool. If we zoom out, you can see there's a lot of cav engagements as well. He brought camels, so he's going to be sending the camels into the Ritterbrüder. And there was no rules on like time period. It was just kind of like, you know, bring what you could afford. So he's going to take on these Ritterbrüder with camels. And this is why I love, you know, Total War, historical Total Wars. You'll see matchups that never happened. I mean, at least I don't think Teutonic Knights took on camel riders. I mean, maybe it's possible, but not to my knowledge. But the Ritterbrüder are doing a fantastic job against our teammate with the cav. But our teammates' infantry, is doing very, very well. Now, he was able to flank around with some swordsmen, but the general is going to charge in and try to protect. Look at that vicious charge right in the back of this infantry, trying to protect his infantry, his own infantry, and it utterly slaughters. Look at that. They went from a full unit to nothing after that charge. It was absolutely devastating. That was a good charge right there. So let's zoom out and kind of get a bigger picture. You can see Teutonic Order has some cav over here. I think we had a cav rule of max 6, and that includes the general. So we didn't want too much cav kind of running around. There you go. Nice charge by the Teutonic Order, but the infantry is really is getting weak here. He does have some gunners in the back as well that are about to be charged by our allies' infantry. That's good. Try to get them off the battlefield. The guns are very scary for the elephants, so he probably wants to take them out as soon as possible. The problem with the Teutonic Order is their strength relies all on cav. So their infantry just doesn't hold up well. I think the Teutonic Order should have just invested in like tier 3 cav or something. Just really epic cav and just, you know, played a little more defensive with the infantry. So if we zoom out here, if we look at the kills, so far we have not, well actually no, we reached the first milestone, so to speak. So we have the first reinforcement army advancing forward. That is France And sure enough, he's going to send his cav into the fight first. Obviously, they're fast moving. They can get there the fastest, so they're going to make their way and try to get to the battle and help our teammate as soon as possible. So he's rushing over there, and I think he's going to try to join this fight over here because it's looking, well, it doesn't look terrible for our ally, but it's a close one, and he wants to make sure that we take control of this situation. Back up over here, you can see a lot of infantry, a lot of victorious infantry running down the Teutonic soldiers. So that's good. If we look at their kills, though, they just brought us down as well. So France, did I say France? This is Poland. Did I say France is making his way? So Poland is making their way. This is not France. I'm so sorry. I had France in my mind because France is now moving as well. So they have just gotten enough kills. And by the way, did I tell you what I was going to call this game mode? I don't think I did. I'm going to call this the relay game mode. It's kind of like a relay race, you know, like a track and field relay where they pass the baton to each other. It kind of reminds me of that. So I'm going to call this the relay battle mode. So if you want to play this with some friends, definitely try it out. I think it's a lot of fun. So France is sending in the French Knights. So they're going to try to get over there and support their ally. And then you have a lot of Polish cav joining the fight as we speak. And this is where the kills start to slow down because an army is gone and it's mostly cav fighting in the battle currently. And cav are smaller units, big units, but they're smaller. There's less of them, so they don't really rack up as much kills. And there's a lot of strategy going into this in terms of like you want to get as many kills as quick as possible. So you do want to run down retreating forces. You know, maybe instead of hammer and anvil with your cav, instead of doing that, you go for a retreating unit to run them down and kill them and bring down their man count to a lower number. Look at this. It's now even in man count, which is really impressive considering we had not way less, but we had less troops than them. So we're definitely turning this battle into our favor. The Teutonic Knights are setting in their dismounted Ritterbrüder after the elephants. They're just YOLO charging in, trying to take care of these elephants, trying to get them off the battlefield. Yep. They are doing the best they can to slow down the might of these elephants. But they are absolutely terrifying, and they do break the dismounted Ritterbrüder. And we have a huge victory so far for our ally. We got the Polish cav running around. You can see they formed up over here. The French are moving in their cav. Now, most of the Teutonic army has been destroyed, except for their gunners. They got a couple units here and there. This is some French knights. They were thinking about moving in, but they decided to fall back. But over on this side, they go in for a charge, and I was actually really surprised by this. I thought for sure that the French were going to wait for their infantry to arrive to this battle because their infantry is much closer. You can see it's like right over here. It's much closer to the battlefield than, say, our ally, which is way down here. Is he running? Yeah, he is running. See, that's the other thing you have to manage in terms of like strategy in this game. Is like, do you run your troops or do you walk your troops? It really just depends. Do you desperately need troops into the fight? If you do, you should, well, probably run them, right? But if you have the luxury of walking them, they're going to be fresh for the battle. They're not going to be tired once they join the front line. So yeah, that's one thing to consider when your reinforcements are moving. But I definitely think he needs to run to the fight because France is like a minute away from this battle. I was actually shocked. I was shaking. No, I was a little nervous about France, and I was surprised that he stopped his troops. I was like, wait, what? Why did he stop moving? I had no idea. The only thing I can think of is that he's trying to freshen them up and you know, give them a break from running. But I would just at the very least march them into this fight because the French cav is doing work. right now. I mean, they are just doing work. They are crushing the Polish cav. This is some really good tier 3 cav taking on the Polish tier 2 cav. They are going to win this fight, and they are just putting a dent into the Polish cav, which is our teammate. So he's doing a good job of taking on this Polish cav, doing some work, doing some damage. Now, if we look at the kills currently, we have 4,671 enemies killed. Remember, we got to bring that down to 4,130. So we're about a little over 500 kills away from my reinforcements joining the fight. Now, our opponents have to bring us down to 3,524, where they pretty much still have 1,000 kills they have to do. They have to get to be able to get their reinforcement army into the fight. So we pretty much have a 500 kill lead in terms of reinforcements. But the French cav, now sending in their general, are seeking a way to turn this around, and they are certainly doing that. They are bringing the pain to the Polish cav. The French are just being monsters right now. The infantry has started to advance forward, so they're marching their way towards the battle. They're trying to get to the fight, and the Polish, there's some major miscommunication here. Major miscommunication. When I saw Poland retreating, I was like, wait, Poland, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, something like, what happened is our teammate, the first army that went in, the Sultanate army, he said, you know, leave me to the wolves. But he was talking about like a unit, not like, he meant like the cav, but that he didn't mean don't come up and help me. He just means like fall back your cav with your army. And our Polish teammate, he thought, oh, like just leave them. Like completely leave them. And I was like, no, we can't give up this hill. That would be very bad. If the French gained control of this hill, we'd have a huge disadvantage because of the hill. It's not a huge disadvantage because I don't think hills matter as much in the newer Total Wars compared to like Medieval 2 or something. But it's still like, I don't know, it's still not good to charge uphill. It's just, I think it tires your troops out and stuff. But look at this charge right now. The French charging into the elephants, and I don't know what the elephants are going to do here. Are they going to stand their ground and fight? I mean, they're certainly getting a lot of kills. I personally wouldn't have charged the cav into the elephants because the cav are really good and they're just not built to deal with elephants. So I would wait for the guns to open fire on the elephants or something of that nature. But you can see the French are going to pull out of there. They're like, yeah, that's not working out. We're getting out of this fight. We're fleeing back, and we're going to regroup and wait for the infantry to get over there. And sure enough, the infantry is still making their way. And this is a little bit of a slower part in the battle. We do still have the elephants kind of stomping around, quite literally stomping around, and getting some great kills on the gunners. And that was a bit of a risky play because if those guns open fire, they probably could have dropped a lot of these elephants, which the elephants are a little over half strength, so they're still going strong. So right now, we are going to wait for the French army to get into position. So now the 3, 2, 1. So now the French are advancing upon the Polish army. Now keep in mind the Polish infantry is still very alive and well. It's just their cav got destroyed earlier in this fight. Now, one thing I was thinking about this reinforcement force, and my idea for it was to kind of have a big mosh pit of a battle as multiple armies start joining the fight a little bit later. Maybe I'll lower the kill count so armies can get into the fight sooner, and it's more of a continuous battle instead of like a stop and go kind of battle. Kind of like what we have right now. It's a bit of a stop and go. There's a little bit of a downtime where armies reorganized and grouped up. I didn't really want that. It wasn't like the end of the world. It's still very entertaining and it's still very strategic. I just wanted more of a continuous fight, and nice job. They just dropped an elephant there. But yeah, I wanted more of a continuous fight. So here we go. Anyways, the French, of course, have their terrifying French knights They are joining the fight. We have the Polish general, who's the last of the cav for Poland, trying to hold back the French knights. And now we have the French knights kind of maneuvering behind the Polish, my teammate. And then look at this. The elephants are going into the fight. Oh man, the elephants were just absolute monsters, literally monsters. And you can see that France is moving in some spears to help out and try to tame these elephants. Not literally tame them. When I mean tame, I mean kill these elephants and bring them down. And then we have more spears kind of taking on the Pavi spears of Poland. Now Poland has some solid infantry here. Sure, his cav has been destroyed, but he's got solid infantry, and he just needs to hold on. Now, let's remind ourselves. Oh, very close. Remember, 4,130 for me to show up as a reinforcement. We are pretty much 100 kills away, and as infantry clashes with the Polish infantry, it will be any moment now when my reinforcements will be able to join the fight. And here's the good news. You see how Poland kind of shifted themselves closer to me? That way my reinforcements could get there sooner. I don't know how I feel about that. I think strategically that's sound, but in terms of rules, should armies be allowed to shift over closer to the next reinforcement force? Maybe. I mean, maybe it's up to the other team to stop them. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. We definitely have to work on that. But there we go. 130 has just been passed. And look at all the arrows. You see that? I clicked my entire army and I was just like, go. So now I'm shifting my cav. Of course, I have my cav in the front. They are making their way. Dude, these cav units are so fast. Look at these guys. I mean, it's just like lightning as they rush down the battlefield. Got my general in the mix as well. And this is huge because at this point, the French cav is severely weakened and no longer a threat. I mean, it's a threat for my ally because he doesn't have any cav, but for my army, they're not a threat. So I'm just trying to get over there to help clean up enemy cav and get behind the enemy infantry because, yeah, this is a lot of axe sergeants trying to split shields and break through the Polish infantry. It can definitely be a problem. So the French are running around. They're getting chased by elephants right now, which is good. I think the elephants is the last unit that is from the First Army, the Sultanate Army. So that's all he has left, and he's using them perfectly, keeping them in the fight and being a real nuisance for France. Now, they cannot bring in their reinforcements just yet. They have to get... Oh, wait, no, they can now. They can now, but he's all the way back here. So he's got to get going. He probably should have put his cav in the front line first so they could have, just rushed forward. I think that would have been a better strat. But now he has to kind of run through his infantry, which it does slow him down. I think it slows him down a little bit. It still looks like he's going pretty fast. Look at, they have no armor. What is up with that? My Bohemian, armor skins are totally messed up. I don't know what's going on. They have no arms either. Oh, boy. But anyways, my cav is just now making it to the fight. And I am running down the general, trying to get him off the battlefield. This is the French general, just trying to kill him so his army will lose the will to fight. And then he also has some anti-cav units, so I got to be careful there. I don't want to chase too far. I get a little too greedy, and I kind of charge into this infantry and decide to pull out of there. I was like, no. Don't want to lose my cav too early on. Over here, I've got other parts of my cav fighting the good fight and trying to bring down his cav, bring down any kind of left alone units that I could easily surround and kill. Now I'm rushing over to the back lines of the enemy of France, who has a lot of axe sergeants, so I'm going to charge in and try to take care of them as quickly as possible. And even without my cav, the Polish won. The Polish won infantry-wise. Just absolutely a fantastic job from Poland, who really struggled at the beginning of the battle with his cav, but turned it around with this infantry. Here comes my cav charging in, Oh my god, what a beautiful sight. Charging into the French axe sergeants, and they're not going to recover from that too well. And sure enough, they break almost instantly, and I'm going to move on to the next unit. You can see my cav grouping up and just running down the French, and this is huge. This is going to give us a huge advantage, and sure enough, the balance of power is in our favor. So things are looking good for us. We just have a few units we have to take care of. And you can see they're on the verge of cracking here. They're breaking against my mighty fish-scaled armored cav. Oh, man. Ooh, dude. The Eastern aesthetic, the Byzantine aesthetic is so fresh. I mean, it just looks so good. So good. You know, I gotta admit, the Byzantine aesthetic. That, and I also like the Western kind of European aesthetic as well. More of that traditional plated armor and stuff. But that's awesome. Anyways, we destroy the French, and now it comes down to... It's like, at this point, I was saying it's like a 1.5 versus 1. We just have to take care of this one army. We have the balance of power in our favor, but it's still anyone's game. We have about a 900-man advantage. So that's really promising, but again, this is anyone's game. Maybe he's a super skilled player and he's going to be able to out micro us, or he has a sneaky strategy. Who knows? Let's see how this one is going to end right now. Okay, so our armies are now marching as one. Me and Poland and I, we're marching together, and I'm going to keep my infantry close with his. I've got my awesome, look at this infantry. Oh my god. So cool, dude. So cool. So they're marching up with Poland. I got my cav over here on the right. I got 2 units of cav. They're going to be accompanied with some early period spears. They're not great, but they're spears. They're going to help in cav engagements. Over here, I've got 3 units of cav. I've got 2 units of spears and 2 units of these like heavy axe units. They're kind of like shock. Look at the cloaks on these boys. Look at this, dude. What?
Where is your...
You know what? You know, they look so good. And one thing, whether they live or die, they're gonna be looking in style. Okay, they're gonna look good. But yeah, I told my ally, hey, use your crossbows, get him to come to us. We don't have to come to him because we have that range ability. I decided to move my spears towards their cav. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm letting them, because I want to fight, and I'm going to start this battle with a cav engagement. So I was letting my spears get there before my cav, and then I went ahead and moved my cav once I saw he was going for the spears. I formed shield wall, and he just doesn't go for it. I was like licking my lips. I was like, yes, charge. He doesn't go for it. But this was a really good play by him. I noticed some gunners over here, hand gunners. I was like, whoa, these guys are vulnerable to cav charges. I'm gonna go for these guys. I don't know if this was on by design, or he used these units for bait, because at the time I didn't see these cav units hiding in the tree line, and they just came out of nowhere, and I was like, uh-oh, that's a lot of enemy cav. And I was able to still charge one of the units. I want to get those handgunners off the battlefield. I was able to charge one of them, and I am definitely in a losing battle here. I'm outnumbered. He's got some infantry over here in the mix as well, so I'm going to have to rush in my spears. And now we've got cav harassing my spears. Unfortunately, I turn and face, but it just doesn't really work out. Same thing over here. I keep pushing my spears, and I'm going to try to now send in my heavy axes, my like Varangian guard. They are going to go in and support the cav as much as possible, so I'm just kind of in panic mode sending over units. Now this main line battle has started as well. It's the invisible soldiers fight my troops. My troops are a little intimidated by it, but that's okay. And I got my cav units kind of looking for a flanking opportunity. I just don't really go for it because he does a good job of using these Hussite flailmen. I guess I could have just charged them because, well, no, they're tier 3. I was confused by them. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep keep falling back. I actually looked away here, and then I noticed it right at the last second. I was like, dang it, these guys are annoying. Like, let's just keep going, guys. Let's just go. Let's just go. But they do a great job. Look at that. They do a great job of killing the units that aren't able to get away, unfortunately. Yeah. So I decide, you know what? I'm just going to send this cav all the way to the other side of the battle and help out over here. Let's just hope that we're still in this fight. Now, he sent over some Swiss pikemen. These guys are absolute monsters, okay? Absolute monsters. What is this? What is this? Epic duel? No, 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 no. Don't stop. Don't stop. Aww. Come on, we got this Varangi. Whoa, he's going in, killing the pikes by himself. Look at him. Dude. He's going in.
Unit is running to the enemy.
Oh, come on. I also send in my general to help out as well. I see the gunners are not being protected, so I go for them, try to take them out with Gen. We are winning the battle infantry-wise. No surprise there. We just had more. Our infantry was better. Well, I mean, he had some good infantry, but, like, our numbers made us better is what I'm trying to say. Then we got some dismounted junior knights coming in from Poland. These knights will definitely become seasoned knights, veteran knights, whatever, senior knights. But yeah, they are now, or I am now finally got my cav reinforcements to this battle. I was really relieved that my cav's still fighting the good fight. Look at these guys, they're so fast, dude. They're so fast. I love Trebizond, such a cool faction. And there we go. There's the other cav joining this battle. Joining the fight. So that's excellent. And I'm still fighting the Swiss over here. These guys were just monsters. I could not deal with them. I tried to flank them, and finally I got a good spot where I could flank them from behind. I got my general over here kind of helping with the infantry. Now that we've kind of wiped out the infantry, I'm going to send my general over to that big cav battle. We got elephants joining him. I can't believe the elephants are still alive. That's awesome to see. The pikes have now rotated the other way, but now they're getting attacked from the rear from my long spear units. And then over here, it's looking like we're kind of losing this. The Swiss pikes, like I said earlier, they're monsters, but their backs are exposed, and my general's like, no, 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 my cav is not dying today. So I charge in and try to help them. Oh, an absolute beauty of a charge. Fantastic. And there you have it. There you have it. That charge alone breaks their forces, and our infantry are victorious. We're now dealing with the far Hussite flailmen. We're taking care of them, and it's not too bad because we're able to overwhelm them with our infantry. And that's it, guys. That is the end of the battle. That is the reinforcement battle. What did you guys think? I'm really interested. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. I do have another game mode that I kind of created, I invented. Not everyone's going to be perfect. This other one is interesting, but a little time consuming. So look out in the near future. You're going to see a video of this other, like, scenario thing that we came up with. I think it's pretty interesting. I'll see what you guys have to say, but yeah, let me know about this one. Again, I call it the relay battle. It's, you know, fight for your reinforcements. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. He's got a couple cav units still being defiant here, but it's in vain because it's just going to lead to nothing, and they're just going to get a couple more kills, and that's about it. Senseless kills. And amazingly, the general is still putting up a crazy fight, but we're down to the last 15 seconds of this battle, so it's not going to be much longer. And there you have it. So GG to all the players. I really can't express enough how awesome these players were. They were cool, they were chill, they listened to the rules, they followed the rules. You know, they didn't complain or anything like that. They were just awesome. So let's end the replay and see the results here. And sure enough, I think really the MVP, I would say, is the first player, who is Zealot. Zealot coming in clutch with the 700 kills with his elephant. I think if he didn't have the elephant, we might have honestly lost. I mean, it's tough to say. tough to say, but the elephant was a huge advantage there for us. We got Major Sharp, who was leading the Polish. I, of course, was leading the Empire of Trebizond. We have Gherkin Peter, which means pickle, I think, in German, pickled. But yeah, Peter going as France. I don't think his strat here of Axe Sergeants really worked out. I think Axe Sergeants are useful for the initial I think it would have been good to bring like a couple, like 3 to 4 at the most. But bringing this many, I think he needed more sturdy, like front line, like shield and sword type units. We got Bullet Bull, who went as the Teutonic Order. He was the first player. And then we have What Up Baby, who went as the Kingdom of Bohemia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle as much as I did. And I will see you guys next time on the battlefield.